Okay, let's see. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Technical issues going on. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm going to see if, please send the ad so I can join. Okay, send the ad so I can join. I have absolutely no idea how to send the ad so she can join. Debby Olusa. Okay, invite. I hope that's what the ad means. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Hey, bring you on. That's it. Let me add you on. Yay. Hello, Rachel. How are you? Okay. Let's do this. Well, I thought, wait a minute now. What happened? Hello. Bring Debby on. She's watching. Add. Okay, Debby, you're here. Yeah, I just added you. It said, bring Debby on. They'll receive an invite. Add. I just did that, Debby. Hello, Rachel. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. There was some technical issues going on tonight for my interview. So I just wanted to take this time to, hello, Dejora. How are you, my dear? Debby, I keep adding you. I'm not sure. Oh, wait a minute. This is Debby. Oh, it says I can't. You can't join mine. It says you can't join it. Oh, Debby wants to be. Okay. So I approve you. Approve. Okay. Debby, I just approved you. I just approved you, Debby. Whatever you did, do it again, because I just approved you. Allow your guests to request to join. Yeah. Debby, do whatever it is that you did before again. Do it again. Do it again, because it says, can't bring Debby on camera. They can't join your broadcast at this time. So whatever you did earlier, do it again. Well, thank you all so much for joining. I do appreciate you. Let's see. Let me see who I can invite here. I see a lot of new people here. Debby, it's saying you can't come in. So request again, request to come in. Thank you all so much for joining. My name is Dr. Princess Fumi Hancock. People call me your global vision midwife, because I really help you to get clarity in your vision. I'm a nurse practitioner, a psych mental health nurse practitioner by profession. I'm also a best-selling author. I've written 20 books. My 21st book is coming out shortly. And of course, I'm also a movie maker. So thank you all so much for joining us. Bring, it's adding you on. Let's hope this works. Let's hope this works. So I was supposed to have an interview with Dr. Debby Olusa on Rachel's broadcast TV show. But we had some problems. There were some technical issues that was going on. And so we were not able to do it. And I felt like I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. I needed to hey, awesome. So I felt like I needed to see and talk to you all because I know that my family, everybody's like, we can't find you. What's going on? We can't find you. So
Yeah.
let me quickly tell them they can find me on my Facebook, on my page. And I just didn't want to leave you guys hanging because you took your time to come out to the event. Um, and so let me quickly tell my parents and my family because they're like, okay, what's going on here? Okay, check us out on my Facebook page. All right. Okay, so Andrea, please do me a favor. Can you share this inside of all of our groups and just get more people to come in? Thank you all so much for joining. For those who do not know me, I see a lot of new people here on my Facebook. I know I haven't been here forever. I think it's probably like 3 months now that I've kind of like said, I'm going to stay away from Facebook for a while. And so thank you so much for spending tonight with me. I really do appreciate it. Those of you who are new, Vivienne, Dijor, I know you already, Dijor, Jawaru, Jackie, all of you, Yolanda, Rachel, thank you all so much for just spending this night, this time. It's just going to be a short time. It's not going to be long. But I want Debbie, because Debbie is the one that was supposed to interview me. So I want her to say her piece here. The interview is going to be rescheduled for another time, but I felt like because I know my audience and I know my people on my, I cannot just leave you guys hanging without you knowing what's going on. That's not Princess. That's not, I don't operate like that. So, all right, Debbie.
So thank you, Princess, for being just Princess. Right. So we had major technical difficulties, and I'm hoping that everyone can hear me comfortably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. So we experienced some major technical difficulties, and we kept popping off the air. My network failed, and so I felt completely obligated to come on and say, one, thank you to your audience, Princess. A huge thank you to you for your continued patience while we troubleshoot it. We will certainly look forward to interviewing you in the future. But by no means does this mean that we're not interested in you and your broad reaching body of work and expertise and experience, and just looking forward to continuing this conversation at a later time.
Okay. Do you want to ask me anything?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have tons of questions.
Go ahead.
What does it feel like to be the first African American female, or African American period, or African, to be a TEDx speaker in Saudi Arabia?
Ooh.
What does it walk on?
That is a good question.
And on that red dot.
That is a good, you know what? Until I got on that platform, I never really understood the gravity of what it was until I actually got on it. And when it became really real was after I had done the TED Talk, I had done my presentation. And as I was coming down the stairs, one of the ladies came up to me. She's Saudi, and she said, do you realize that you are the very first your color ever to be on that platform? And when she said that to me, then it became real. Up until then, I never even dawned on me, right? I knew because we're talking about Saudi Arabia here. When I went into Saudi Arabia, I've always known I wanted to be on TED Talk. I just never thought about Saudi. I never thought that it would be possible in Saudi.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be frank about it. It's 100%, 200% Muslim country,
Right.
um, male dominated. Um, it just wasn't. I just said to myself, okay, I'm gonna be in Saudi. Okay, when I get back home, maybe I can start to daydream again about TED Talk when I get back to the US. That was my thinking, that okay, because while I was in US, it never happened, and you had to be nominated, but it just never happened. But I just kept saying, I don't care if it never happened now, I'm going to be on TED Talk. And I remember Wendy reminding me when it happened. And Wendy said to me, do you know that you said this, you spoke this forward? Did you realize that you said this last year? And I said, wow, I actually forgot that I said it. And then when she reminded me, then I kept saying, oh, wow, that's true. I kept saying, you watch, I'm going to be on TED Talk. You watch. But I never thought about Saudi. And so when Saudi happened and that woman came to me and said, you are the first. Wow, that was a big responsibility right there for me, to say, wow,
Yes.
you are the first. And then I began to look back at what God had been doing in my life. The very first woman to win literary arts award, African Oscar. The very first one. So I just kept seeing the first, the first, the first, the first. And I said, my goodness, God, you're doing so. Pastor Tommy, thank you for joining. You're doing something here. You're really, really doing something with this. So now I feel obligated to tell women like myself that don't sell yourself short.
Mm.
Let me say that again. Do not sell yourself short, because everything is not happening the way you want it to happen now. Doesn't mean that God doesn't have a plan for it. And one lesson that I also learned is that because you are in a strange country or a different country, doesn't mean that God's plan for your work, for your life halts. Because you traveled out of America, doesn't mean that God decided to now stop and wait till you get back. Which was
Yes.
which was what I was thinking. He was gonna wait till I got back to help me
Yes.
with the TED Talk, and that was
Yes.
not what happened.
So it wasn't your plan, it was God's plan, did you say?
Exactly. Absolutely, because I never thought about it, while I was in Saudi. I never thought about it in Saudi. Never. It didn't even come to my mind, because in my mind it is absolutely impossible. Right? It was because of just watching the way things were being done there. In my mind, it was not even, there was no question of possibility. So it never even crossed my mind. But God used a Jordanian lady, a young lady that was with me. God used that person to really, really open the door. And she talked to them about me. She nominated me, and when she nominated me, she said to me the next day, she said, oh, mm, Dr. Hancock, I did something. I said, what did you do, Fatah? She said, mm, don't worry, I did something. We just have to wait and see what it is. I did something. I did something. And so when she said that, then I was sleeping. I think it was like the second or third day I was sleeping, and I heard the Holy Ghost say, go check your email. And it was around 12 midnight. I was like, check my email. Go check your email. And I saw it, and it's like, congratulations, you were just nominated. And I said, wow, wow. So these are the kinds of things we're going to talk to you about when this big interview is going to be done on Miss Rachel's TV, on our broadcast.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other question?
Yes. Um, I'm going to preface it with a statement. So you are definitely a trailblazer because you have another first,
Oh,
right? You received a Hollywood African Oscar, right? You were the first woman to receive their literary awards.
yeah. Yeah.
So not only are you an international TED speaker in Saudi Arabia, but you're also an Oscar award winning film uh, writer as well. Talk to me about that moment. You're standing at that podium. You stood on the TEDx dot. and you spoke your great journey, right? So what does it feel now to be standing behind that podium,
Hmm.
being another?
Wow. Wow. I, I, I tell you what, though, every time God does things like that in my life, He always reminds me that He is the one in control, that I'm not in control, and that whatever He chooses to do in my life has nothing to do with age, that age has nothing to do with it, and that I could be 60-year old, his word for my life will still come to pass. I could be 70, his word for my life will still come to pass. I could be 80, his word for my life will still come to pass. I remember when I first came to America, I was very young and naive, and I wanted to be, it was just all about Hollywood. My head was just packed with Hollywood. And I remember trying to knock down doors, and every door that I knocked, nothing was happening. Just absolutely nothing was happening. Until God finally said to you, look, you go and create your own door yourself. Create your own door. Do your own thing. And when you do your own thing, they'll see it and they'll come for you. And that's exactly what happened. Because when I got the first, now I've won about 4 African Oscars now. To
Hmm.
God be the glory. And then, of course, in the first awards, film festival award in Hollywood and all that. And I remember when the letter for the very first literary arts award recipient came, they said, I would never forget it. I think I actually have that letter on one of my websites. And it said, we have been watching you. It said, for
Look at
2 years, we have been, 2 or 3 years, I can't remember, we have been watching you. We have been watching how your books have been impacting the world and
that.
impacting women. We have been watching the things that you're doing. And here is the line that I love the most. It says, may you do us the honor. Ooh, may you, I will never forget that line. May you do us the honor of awarding you the very first Literary Arts Award. And when I read that letter, I kind of literally wept, because I wept because my parents have always been one who believed that I belonged in Hollywood. They've always told me when I was like this back in Nigeria. In Nigeria, they always told me in Nigeria that you belong, you're right. You belong in Hollywood. And to now see, when I was getting the first award, to see them in the room,
Yeah.
to see my parents being interviewed. I didn't even see their interview until it was over. Then I said, oh, wait a minute, they did interview you. They said, yeah, they were interviewed. And to see them be interviewed and to see them proud, sitting
Yes.
there and watching this. And then when I got the Literary Arts Award, it was so surreal, because when they were talking about somebody, you know, it's like, you have these two people up there at the podium introducing somebody. And I will never forget, I turned to my husband and I said to my husband, I said, ooh, I need to meet this woman. I totally forgot. I said, I said, oh, I said, honey, I said, I need to meet this woman. So he said to me, say, yeah, he said, there's a way on that side, when she comes and she's getting off that, since you two are going to get an award anyway today, you might as well just go on the side and go wait for that person. So I turned to my son and I said to my son said, yeah, mom, you need to be, wow, look at all that. And then all of a sudden, the lights that roam around in the room,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, wham, on my face. I'm telling you, the whole row behind me laughed so hard because they were hearing me say all these things. And so when
Uh-huh.
the light, I came out, I was trying to get up to go get to the other, to the end, so that I can catch this woman before and give her my card or something. And I got up and the light, and boom, on my face. I'm like,
When you.
they were talking about me. I said, oh my God, they were talking about me. It was just incredible to look in and see, Lugaset, is it Lugaset Jr., and see Blair Underwood, and see all these
What?
people that you have watched on the, just watch them, and you see
Yeah.
them, that you're actually getting an award next to them. It was incredible. It was 2 minutes that I will never forget in my life.
So needless to say, you're not waiting for the lady to hand her your business card anymore.
Yeah, because it's her.
Yeah. So
So
you're the
I
lady
tell
next.
you, that cracked me up that day. It was something. It was just so funny. It was funny that night because I think because I was so charged up, I didn't even realize they were talking about me because the whole atmosphere was just like everybody tense. They didn't know what they were going to win or something. So I wasn't even I wasn't even thinking. I was just saying, my goodness, since I'm here, I must well meet her. Maybe we can do business together or something. But this is one of the awards. Yeah, this is one of the awards here.
Nice.
This is one of the awards. This is one of the awards here. This is another one. So
Are they
it's
all
yeah.
Area Award?
Yeah. So I have about three. I think I have three African Oscars now. One for screenplay, one for the Literary Arts Award, and then the third one I just won last November because I did my I directed my first film last
Mm.
December. So that one won an award for a new director or something like that. And of course, this one, Indie Fest, this is Hollywood. This is Hollywood. This is for one of my films of sentimental value. And let's see. Then this one too, it's called Accolade. It's from Hollywood too. That's for one of my films too. And now I cannot cherish this because this is like an African Heritage Award.
Oh.
Yeah, I really cherish that. And this is for the TED Talk. I didn't even realize they give anybody this. I was just too. It was just like you got me on your stage. That's good enough. But then they said, "Oh, wait a minute." In fact, when I was done, I left, and I did because I didn't realize they were gonna give this. So they started looking for me. I was gone, so they had to mail it to me.
Oh.
So, any other question?
Well, I think that it's only fair that you start at the beginning. And I want to say that the book that where I started following you was when you were presenting on Periscope once and you discussed being in a freezer and working and being alone and having a job that no one else wanted at a time in your life when it was super painful and very challenging. And there were no eyes on you at that time because you worked in a freezer, right?
Yeah,
And but you at that time you wrote a book.
yeah, yeah. Wow. The deep freezer story is a story that talks about when things changed for me. Prior to that, I had been in a marriage that was not working.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had tried to commit suicide, but then, oh, but God's grace that stopped me from jumping off the ledge of Verrazano Bridge in New York. Um, and the home that I had gone. It'd been taken away from me. My two businesses were gone. Everything that it was gone. And I remember I couldn't for a while I couldn't go back to tell my family because I felt ashamed. Because I felt like I had failed completely. And if I had failed, then what does that mean? Now I know better now because now that I understand my family, I should have actually gone quickly. But for me at that time, I was young, I was a young mother. I just felt like I had disappointed them. And so I wasn't, you know, I was out there practically homeless, really. And I had to leave Staten Island because here I was on Staten Island. I was one of the ones that was hiring people. And now I'm the one looking for a job there. So Staten Island, I could no longer stay in Staten Island. So I relocated to New Jersey. And it was when I got to New Jersey, I couldn't find any. I had master's degree, carried it around, could not find a job.
Hmm.
But this Indian man who owned a 7-Eleven, I will never forget it in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Never forget him. I remember going to him and he said, "Look, I don't have anything for you." He said, "But you know what? If you're willing to clean the freezer, I'll give you a job because somebody else is in the front and it was a graveyard shift. If you're willing to do it, we're fine with that." So, and that's how I went in. But you know what? When you're in pain, you know, you can be in deep freezer, you won't even feel nothing. I wasn't too much. The pain was way too much. So I didn't even feel that it was
Hmm.
cold. I will remember going in there, even sitting. Can you imagine a deep freezer sitting on the floor and you're not even feeling it? That is that
Wow.
cold. But at some point, I would cry and cry and cry and roll on the floor. God, talk to me. God, speak to me. I need to hear a word from you. I need to know that you're with me. I need to, God, speak. God, speak. And after a while, yeah, he started speaking. And that's when your vision touch, how to re-engineer your life purpose. That's where that book came from, how to re-engineer. And God says, sister, you need to re-engineer your life. And I'm going to show you the way out of poverty of the mind, poverty, physical poverty, and poverty of the mind. And before I knew it, I was always getting so excited to go into the freezer. And I would walk, it's amazing. Yeah, can you imagine that? You go to a place, everything turned, right? And
Uh-huh.
I couldn't wait to go into that freezer. I could
Hmm.
not wait to go because that was where I had my moment with him. And so I would remember I would just go in the middle of the night, say, "Hey, hey, hey, good night" to the front girl. And I just go straight to the deep freezer, lock that thing, and sit there with my Bible. And he would just talk and talk and talk and talk. And that's where the whole collection of your vision torch. If you don't have that book, that connection, you need to get it because it's going to show you some things that would really literally help you. And of course, the one that I'm writing that I'm about to release now, which I should have released anyway, that let me just say now for you all that I did the pre-order, just hang in there with me because I'm not one to, I don't like throwing things that is haphazard out. I have to do things right. I got a brand to protect. So just hang in there with me. So God began to show me your amazing life, how to live your amazing life, your vision touch. So a lot of the books that I've written lately have come out of that deep freezer experience. And every one of us have our deep freezer moment. You might not
Hmm.
be in a physical deep freezer, but everyone, if I bet if I were to ask two, three, four people on here today, they would say, they would tell us about their own deep freezer too. They would tell us about an experience that they've had in their lives that has changed their lives, that have molded them. So my deep freezer experience, now I can say thank God for it. Back then, back then it was like, God, no, what's going on? Why me? Nah, yeah, yeah. But now I could look back and say, my God, thank you for that deep freezer moment. Because if I did not have that deep freezer moment, you all will not see Princess today. I would not be who God has called me to be today. I would not be sitting in front of you today, someone who's, 10 best-selling author, 20 books, 5 Hollywood Awards. I would not be sitting here. And everywhere I went, and by the way, with the books too, be, around that time too, I was sending my books out. I think it was over 40. I stopped counting at 40, really. It was like over 40 traditional publishers that just kept saying, nah, 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 nah. I don't even know how I even ended up getting to 40, because the usual me, by the time I get to like 3, I would have stopped. So I must have been so desperate that I wanted something that I went as high as 40. And after I got to 40, I said to myself, okay, now, sister, uh-uh, don't do this to yourself anymore. Let's figure another way out. God says start from scratch. And that's what I literally have to do with the Princess of Suburbia. Start everything from scratch. If the door, if I kick a door and it won't open, I just say, okay, thank you. I don't dwell on it. I just go back and just create my own door. And now it's cool to be able to sit back and say there are actors and actresses that you can hire. It's cool to be able to say, okay, you're making movies, and people like Tommy Tiny Lista, people like Malik Yoba, you are actually calling them and saying, hey, come on, can you be on my in my film? It's cool to see that, but only God could do that. Only God Almighty could make that happen.
Yeah. Well, I thought in the moment when I watched you on Periscope, and I'm not even a Periscope person, but when I bumped into your story, I thought how hugely fortunate are we, meaning just the world in public, that you would be brave enough to share something so personal and intimate as your story, and to admit to the things that you've admitted to. Most people would hide, especially African Americans, women of color. We hide for mental health issues. And I know that you have your doctorate as a nurse practitioner in mental health. And so I just wondered, was that what liberated you to share your story so vividly? Because you provide so many details that other people ordinarily just avoid, like the
Yeah,
plague, but
yeah,
not you.
yeah.
Is, is your studies what liberated you?
Well, no, it's not studies. I would say it's God. Because when you've been where I have been, where you literally look around and there's no help, absolutely no help. And the only thing you have is just these 2.5 and 3.5 year old kids that you're pulling around. And you say to a point, you say to God, God, if you get me out of this,
Yes,
I promise.
you
So it
promised.
is the promise that I made that is keeping me going. Because usually, frankly, before Periscope, it I'm not the kind of person that will be on Periscope and be talking all this kind of no. Because prior to Periscope, I did my business. I did what I needed to do. I didn't need to be in the front. I would be in the front in other situations where I go and speak and things like that. But I would never be like interactive with people the way I am now. um
Mm.
People would try to reach me, they won't be able to find me. And but it was something that God reminded me and said, okay, here is a platform for you to fulfill your promise. Here is a platform now you go and fulfill your promise. And so me coming on Periscope is me fulfilling my promise. It's me saying to God, because I remember saying, God, if you get this chain off of my neck, I will do it. I remember saying to God, every platform you put me, see, you better be careful what promises you make. So
Yes.
I said, I remember saying to God, I said, that's exactly what my prayer was. I said, every platform that you open for me, I will tell of your goodness. I will tell my story. Well, when the African Oscar thing happened in Hollywood, you know how everybody have their list of who they want to thank, the Father, the Son,
Yeah.
the Holy Ghost, and everybody else in between. Okay,
Yeah.
so when it was my turn, I remember walking up and I say, okay, yeah, you gotta say thank you to your mother, thank you to your dad, thank you, And I remember saying that, and as I got up that podium, somebody helped me up that podium, and I turned around, and the Holy Ghost said, uh-huh, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Here's a platform. You promised. Look, sister, I turned that place into a church. You hear me? It was a
Yeah.
it was a 2 to 5 minute church that we had in Hollywood because I remember just turning around and I was looking at all these actors and everybody looking at me clapping, and I'm saying, but why are they clapping? What are they clapping about? Y'all don't know me like that. And they were clapping and clapping, and the Holy Ghost said, okay, now do your thing. If you haven't watched that, go on my YouTube on Princess of Suburbia and watch it. It would, I mean, I just remember after the Holy Ghost reminded me, I just said, I like to thank the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, my Rose of Sharon, the Lily of the Valley, my bright and morning star. I just went to town. I went to town. But I didn't know how they were going to respond. But do you know that they all got up? Which tells me that people in Hollywood want God. They yearn for it. They want it. They all got up. They were clapping. I mean, they turned the thing into a church. And then after a while, I said to myself, look, sister, you better get off this stage quick before they use their music to get you out. So this is where I take my strength from. Many say, oh, you share too much or you don't share too much. You can never you can never share too much about your of course there's some things you want to keep, but there's liberation in sharing. There's liberty when you share, because that way the devil no longer have a hold on you in that particular situation. If you have a situation in your life right now that you're hiding, that you're covering, you're giving the enemy is looking at you and say, aha, that's one area that is weak. She or he doesn't want anybody to know about it. So I'm going to torture her and torture him till kingdom come. I'm not going to give the enemy. Now, it's up to people. They can say, oh my God, Princess, so she went like that. She was homeless before she was there. Whatever. I'm doing what my father asked me to do. And so if I'm fulfilling what my father asked me to fulfill, then it doesn't matter how anybody else sees it. I'm fulfilling what the father asked me to fulfill.
Alec, Alec, bring my charger. Sorry, my charger. I got to plug it. But I want you to know that was a very impactful moment for me. And from that minute, I've been following you.
Wow.
I enjoy your prayers. I find them very inspirational. And I just wanted to invite you to be my guest speaker for my first Facebook Live hosting experience, because who else would I ask that really touched me, right? It made me look in the mirror more deeply at myself, because of your authenticity and your voice. And so, yeah, thank you. And all of your work, in my opinion, right? And that's why I asked for you to be, excuse me, I'm not ignoring you. I just have to plug. So, all of your work always, Alec, this is short. All of your work always, to me, has a voice of support. It comes from a spirit of support. And if somebody listens, I'm going to move back. I have to move up because of this. But if somebody takes heed and they listen, right? If they're in a place in their life where they can listen, where they need to start listening, you're a good voice for them to start. You're a good starting.
Praise God. Praise God. Well, the operative word is if they listen, right? And that has to do with all of us too. There are times we want to listen. There are times we want to choose what we listen to, right? But the ultimate goal is us listening, because God can use anything and anyone. God can use even your worst enemy. The person that you say is your enemy today can turn around and drop a nugget right on your lap and keep going. They can drop a nugget and slap you and keep going.
Right. But not on purpose. They don't leave the nugget on purpose.
No.
They don't leave the nugget. They don't even know they're leaving.
No, they don't. You're the one who knows, right? They just drop that thing. They might even slap you and keep going. And then, but you are the one who know, oh, that's a nugget for me. And they don't even know. If you ask them later, they'll look at you like, oh well, okay. you know. So God can use any and anything. We just have to be open. We have to be open, and that's where a lot of our us Christians are stuck. We're stuck on ourselves. We're stuck. At times we get overly too religious about things. And God is not looking for religious people, right? He's looking for believers, true believers. He's not looking for religion. There's a lot of religion out there. So God is not looking for religion. He's looking for people who have his heart. Those who can understand that we're not perfect. Those who can understand that, you know what, no one is perfect. I have some people in my life now that I can't even be around because they're too perfect for me. They just way too perfect. No, seriously, they're just too perfect. So I can't be around them because anytime I'm around them, I feel bad. If I don't feel bad, then they will say something like, oh, this is the way you should have done it. Well, okay, I didn't do it that way. Now what? So now what? So there are just some people you have to just look around. It's my hope that we as Christians will just love each other and love one another, and not just love Christians alone, and even the Muslim. That's one thing that I learned in Saudi. I mean, I have a lot of Saudi sisters now that I didn't have before. I mean, that really cared. I mean, cared that really cared. And what was fascinating about it was that when we talk, it wasn't about the religion. We weren't talking about religion because you're a Muslim, I'm a Christian. We all know where we stand on that. But we women, we have other issues to talk about. We have a whole lot of problems that we need to talk about. They need some freedom in some areas of their lives there that we have freedom about. We need some freedom just watching them live their lives. So there's so much that brings us together as women, and so that religion is not something that we start slicing everything, uh, cookie cut. If you don't fit this box, then you must not be. So my thing now, that's a lesson that I learned coming out of Saudi. I was showing my husband tonight of this jewelry that one of them bought me, and my husband, I mean, his eyes was like this, like, huh? They bought this jewelry? I said, yeah. I mean, they bought me jewelry. They did my name in Arabic and gave it to me for my birthday. Yeah, and of course, they had to tell me what it meant. They actually did fool me in Arabic, and then I mean, just wow. They're not perfect, but you know what though? I learned a lot understanding, going in there with one mindset and coming out understanding that there's more to us than fighting and bickering about religion.
Yes.
There is more to what God wants to do, and God wants our life to shine, not without us even saying Jesus. I remember when I first got there, 2 months into it, about two of them came into my office and closed the door. And they said, Miss, I said, what? They said, we gotta talk to you, Dr. Hancock. I said, okay, can you pray for us? And I said, hello. So I'm like, okay, did you say pray? He said, yeah, please, we're going through something right now. Can you just pray with us? Please, please, please pray with us. Please, please, Dr. Hancock, pray with us. And they held on to my hand and I prayed and I said, Amen. And they said, Inshallah. They said their own thing. I said, Amen. And they said, Inshallah. And I helped them to say, Inshallah too. I mean, that's it. That's it. Without you actually saying Jesus, your life must show it. People wants to see it. Generations behind us now, they don't need us banging them on their heads with Bible no more. They're tired of that. They're sick of us with all that. We're all carrying Bible and then sleeping with sleeping with people on the we carry the Bible in the broad daylight. We do something else in the dark. you know.
Yeah.
So, and the generation behind us, they're watching us and they're sick of it. They want us to show them the Bible, not bang them with it. Show us by acting the word out. So we
Yes.
are called to act the word out and not just tell people that thus says the Lord. Yeah, thus says the Lord, but I'm hungry right now, so I can't hear a thing about what you're talking about. If I'm very hungry right now, and you have a loaf of bread in your refrigerator, and you're laying your hands on me and saying God will provide, really? And you have a loaf of bread in your refrigerator, then tell me, how is He gonna provide? Isn't it gonna be through us? And
Right.
this is what many of us are doing. We will have a loaf of bread in the refrigerator and we say, oh yeah, let me pray for you, sister. God bless you. And we lay hands and send them on the way empty-handed. And yet you have that bread sitting right in your refrigerator. You can't even share it.
The thing that I wanted the audience to know is about a current project that you have, because you have so many different platforms that you're leveraging, but this one is really special because
Yeah.
it's an international platform, a global platform, if you will, to provide inspiration. And so, what's that baby about?
All right. So are we talking about the Fearless Visionary co-authoring?
Yes,
Yeah.
I wanted you to say that.
Yeah. So Fearless Visionary Tear the Veil came out of the movie, the documentary that won the African Oscar last November. And so after that, after the success of that, I began to hear more stories about women, particularly in Saudi. Now I'm putting stories together in Saudi for Saudi women, that theirs is going to be the Saudi edition of Fearless Visionary. I cannot wait for that to happen, because even now they're actually, it's in the point of them translating it into Arabic. That's where we
Wow.
are with that now. So we have Fearless Visionary, Tear the Veil, Saudi edition, and the stories are powerful. There are 15, I think it's 15 of them, and the stories are powerful. And so I began to think, okay, in America, we also have women that have stories, that are constantly saying that they do have stories. And so we
Mhm.
said, okay, why not do Fearless Visionary, the book, so that out of that will now come the part two of the documentary. And so right now, um, I think I did two webinars already. I have one left, which is going to be coming up September 1st. But I have to say this though. I just have to say this because it's pretty tight now. Pretty tight, because I feel like I have my women, and
Oh,
yeah, I feel like I have for the first issue anyway. The first issue,
okay.
I feel like I have the women. And what's going to make me switch is switch one out will be that story that I get September 1st have to be like, and the stories
One.
that yeah, and the stories that I have so far have been are just incredible. Just, I mean, whoo, just incredible. I mean, women, watch out, because men will even read it and understand they're women too. Uh, with this, the stories are just incredible. So September 1st. You, is it first or second? I don't know. First, check my check my. You can check
First.
my Facebook. You can check my Facebook
Mhm.
line on that one. And bit.ly slash, I think bit.ly slash millionaire influencer secrets webinar one. So this is the last webinar for the year, because like I said, a lot of women are going to end up on waiting list on that one. And I'm grateful to God for that. I'm really grateful to God for that. If you have a story to tell, if you know that you want to become a part of uh, this Fearless Visionary, just come to the webinar. You get to listen to it. You are the webinar too. You get to listen to it, watch it, hear it, and if you want to become a part of it, now I also get to choose who I feel should be a part of it. So far, not everybody story that I've seen, I've said yes to. I just want to tear the veil here. And let's be clear about that. Not everybody's story. There have been people that have said, you know what, go live more life a little bit. Just live a little bit more life. And then your story will be complete. I literally told some people that go, you still need more life to live. It's not cooked yet. So let's wait. And who knows, you might be in the second issue or the third issue. But if you're thinking that you have a story, a powerful story to tell, then you want to come to that webinar and just be a part of it, because that's the last webinar for the year. I'm not doing any webinar on that program again for the year.
And what time is that webinar going to be?
It's September 1st, Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Time to 4 p.m. But go on my Facebook, bit.ly/millionaire influencer secrets webinar 1. And just make sure that you sign up and come to the webinar so you can get all of the information, and then you can make up your mind and decide if it's something that you want to be a part of. Here's the thing. In this particular issue that is coming out, I have somebody that I've written 17 books. She's written 17 books, and yet she's going to be a part of it. There's a reason for that. She's written 17.
Yes.
I have a few
Wow.
that have written books, and yet they're like, no, we need to be a part of this, because they see the vision of where God might take it. They can see the vision. And of course, everybody's going to do the work. That's the cool part of it. We all come together as one. You put in the work, we get the result that we want. You don't put in the work, you don't get the result. So that's why I'm very picky who I put in it. Now, I have to be honest too, that those that I've mentored before, they kind of have I have a soft spot for them. So those ones, I don't think I even check them out. I just say, okay, yeah, come in, right? So because my leaders and sister tribe, I have a soft spot for them. So I'm not gonna, if they said they want to be a part of it, I'm not gonna say no, unless if I know they're really not ready. I'm not gonna say no. But if I know they're not ready, they know me, I'll tell them to go sit yourself down. Hashtag sit yourself down. But yeah, I've been partial to them. And so, but everybody else that I do not know, if you know that you have, this is a nice way. Some of us are writing books, right? This is a nice way to kind of like throw your hat in the ring, like a prelude to your big book. Is a prelude. So if you are a pastor, a coach, a speaker, a business owner, don't look at it as something like, oh, you don't need. Don't look at it like that. You look at it like it's an opportunity, because once we reveal the people that are part of it, then you will wish you were a part of them, because they are people that are doing the work. They are not people that are lazy. They're not people that are just sitting down waiting for, something to happen. They're people that are making things happen. And they go from like London, from all the way from London, Saudi, Dubai, back to the US, and some other places anyway, right? So these are the kinds of people that you're going to be a part of, and it helps you because now it's like a cushion. You have sisters that you can rely on, that can help you to get where you need to get to. And I know it's going to be a bestseller. It's not that it might. I know it's going to be a bestseller. So Makita always says this. Makita said, "Oh, you say you know?" I said, "I know," and it happened. So I know it's going to be a bestseller. So this is a best-selling book, so that people who are part of it can now say, "Yeah, I'm a paid bestseller."
I attended the first webinar, like you said, and it was really, really huge that you did have Marquita Collins there.
Mm-hmm.
One thing to say that you produce or it will be a bestseller. It's another thing for someone to come on and say, "Hi, my name is Marquita Collins, and I am a bestseller because of Dr. Me. I am currently on Amazon's best-selling list, and they created a new category just for me."
That's right. That's right.
By the way, right?
Yeah.
And then for her, a press release to be sent out
Mhm.
and over one networks
Yeah.
to pick up her book and feature her book on
Mhm.
their website
Mhm.
permanently.
Mhm.
Huge.
Yeah.
And so I'm a big evidence person.
That's right.
And so you're you're touting your next body of work being a bestseller, and having this long history of bestsellers.
Mhm.
I should say you're going to have what? Another bestseller.
Yes.
And
Yes. It's
not
good.
that bestseller, and it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's you have a bestseller as of 2 months ago, I want to
Yes.
say, and
That's
she
right.
continues
That's
to be a
right.
bestseller
That's right.
as we see right
That's
now,
right.
right?
That's right.
So
That's right.
that's
That's
huge
right.
to
And I have I think there's I have two particular books that are I think nonfiction that have been sitting on bestselling for 3-4 years. That's unheard of. And they've just sat there. They've just sat as a
there.
bestseller. They've not moved. It's just like wow.
Oh,
And
I
yeah,
see.
and that book was released three. This particular book I'm talking about, I've since had bestsellers after it, but this particular one, I don't know why people love it so much, but it's I think 4 years now, and it's been sitting on bestselling list for 4 years.
So what's the name of that book?
It's called Hydra's Nest. Hydra's Nest is for young adults. But well, I wrote it for young adults, but women were the one who were buying. It was supposed to be for young adults, but when I looked at the statistics of people who bought it, it was women, women who likes, I don't know, fantasy. They were the ones that bought it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whatever that magic sauce is, you have it.
Amen.
And you owe it to yourself to pop in to her
Amen.
webinar and see if your life story and journey is a great fit
Yeah.
for what you're producing. And you owe it to yourself to give yourself permission to just imagine and dream because, like she said earlier, age is not your factor. It
Mm-mm.
shouldn't be your factor. Um, if you're living abroad and your life isn't going in the direction, as you said earlier, that you think it's going, you don't know God's plan to
Yes,
use you where.
exactly.
And so, why don't you just give yourself a chance and the opportunity to see if you're going to be a part of, I would bet, another bestseller, right?
Yes, it's not a question of it's going to be a bestseller.
Yeah, yeah,
I just know
absolutely.
it's going to be a bestseller. So if you are out there still trying to figure out if this is for you or not, put your name in the hat. You might even not be chosen, because I
Mhm.
pray over every woman that comes in. So you might not even be chosen, but at least put your hat in the ring first. You know,
Mhm.
don't knock yourself out unless God said it. Don't knock yourself out of opportunities. This is one thing that I learned building the Princess of Suburbia brand. You don't knock yourself out. Ever so often, we talk ourselves out of opportunities and say, "Oh, it must be for somebody else and not for us." But at the end of the day, then you look back and say, wow, I should have been part of them. Look at them now. So don't, I know that God has his hands on Fearless Visionary Teddyville. I know that already. I work daily with him, so I don't know how big it's going to get. I don't know. And I can't promise how big or whatever, but I know that he has his hands on it. And when he has his hands on it, I'm in. I'm in with feet, head, toe, everything. I'm deep in it, soaked completely in it. So if you're listening to this now and you know, learn to invest in yourself, learn to invest in your future. Quit finding excuses and reasons why you cannot do something. Many of us here were saying, God, make us millionaires, and you can't even give a dime out to anything you know, and yeah, you want God to make you a millionaire. Come off it. So you have to learn to invest in yourself. Understand that there are times, there are people in my life now that I just pay for them to be there, right? I just I just pay. I don't see them every day. I don't talk to them every day, but they're there.
Yes.
And I just pay for them to be there because anytime, I mean, when I wanted to call one about 2 weeks ago now, I got on the phone, boom, you know, you know, a billionaire. I was able to call him because, you know, I'm paying for his time too. I'm paying for his time. And
Mhm.
there are times I don't even talk to him for 2 months, but I'm still paying monthly. And I'm fine with it because when I talk to him, I get things, I mean, things roll. When I, when I have my questions and I come to this person,
Mhm.
I get so much clarity. And besides, that's where I want to see myself. I want to see myself. I don't think it's impossible for me to be a billionaire. I don't think it's impossible. So,
Mhm.
and if I don't think it's impossible, then I need to find somebody who is a billionaire that I can be looking at and watching and seeing how they are making this happen. Likewise, if you want to become a millionaire, then you stick close to people that you know, you stick close to them and you do whatever you need to do. It might be pay for their time too. Then that's what you got to do. And
Mhm.
that's what many of us don't want to do. We just want everything put on a silver platter. And then, and some of us will start quoting Bibles like, freely you get, freely, oh, baloney. Freely you give, freely you get, and all this other kind of baloney. If you know that the person that you're talking to is a business person and you know that is their bread and butter, then you need to fix that, because don't take advantage because you know that they are givers. Then don't take an advantage. If you know that that's their business and their bread and butter, that they use that to feed their family, then you do the right thing too and say, hey, how much do you charge? How much do you charge? And God will bless you that way. You'll be blessed that way, doing things the right way.
Mhm. Mhm. So, what would be your final word to? We've heard like a span of your life. You touched on the very beginning when you were in the deep freezer, and we've touched on your now. Um, so the now, I think we're pretty covered on. But for that person that's in that freezer and they don't know what to do, what would you say to that person or your old self today?
Hmm.
What would you say?
I will look up unto the hills from whence come my help. My help come from God who makes heaven and earth. When everything fails around you, when everyone fails around you,
Mm.
there is a friend, a brother, a sister, a papa, a mama, all wrapped in one that will never fail. And that's the man upstairs. The minute you take your eyes off there, you might as well be dead. But when you can look and be fixated on him and not on what is going on around you, the more you get fixated on him, the more it will open up your eyes, the more it will take those things off of your eyes and you're able to see clearly. Um, I would love to say that there are people we can trust, but human beings are human beings. The same person you trust today can be the one that will knife you tomorrow or even
Yeah.
tonight. So, but when we talk about God, he never fails. Even when it's quiet, he still never fails, because his quietness is an answer. And his answer is saying, sit yourself down and let me handle this. That's the answer when he's quiet. So even when he's quiet, he's speaking. He's speaking when he's quiet. He doesn't speak that as much as many people think that he does, right? He doesn't. It's not. God is not a chatterbox, because he's not a chatterbox. He's not
Mhm.
raising for himself zombies. He's giving us our own faculties too. There's a reason why we have a faculty, which means that there are some things that we will have to make that decision, and it's not just about the Bible all the time. The Bible will give you a framework, but your faculty, right? If you know this person is abusing you, day and night, the Bible gives you the strength to check out. So we have to put things in perspective here.
Well, we've covered quite a bit. I know that we've inspired some, hopefully many.
Yes.
And please continue to be the authentic self that you
Thank you.
present.
Thank you.
It's really amazing.
Thank you.
And we
Thank you.
time.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We're so sorry about what happened, but I promise you we will be back. We'll be back again with Dr. Debby Olusa on, I think is it Rachel's?
John
Rachel.
Johnston Show.
Okay, Rachel Johnston Show. So if you have not liked that page, please go ahead and like it. And I promise you, the next time when we hit that button, there's nothing stopping us, y'all. Nothing stopping us. All right. So wait a minute now. Let me see. Let me make sure. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Have a great week. Thank you, Dr. Olusa. You
Thank
feel
you.
okay now? You okay now? You all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It will be okay.
Thank you.
So you and Miss Rachel go handle your business. Handle your business. And let me know the next time you're getting on.
Okay then.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.